What's good, y'all? It's your boy Shane Hector coming back. Is it back at you live at WBGR Studio? I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Unregulated, here today. And we're back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to get real. We're going to get raw. And we're definitely going to talk about a lot of different things today. So I want y'all to get ready. The number to call is going to be 301-429-9247. Again, that number is 301-429-9247. Luck. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying this for the longest. Everybody been talking crazy to me all week about this fool that we about to talk about right now. Mr. Fool himself. Pains me to even say his name. Mr. Josh Gordon. That guy. Yeah. This guy. You know, Mr. I can't stay off the weed. Mr. I got mental issues. Mr. I don't know what to even call this dude. But I have to talk about him because this is arguably one of the most troubled players I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. I mean, it really mind boggles me how this is arguably one of the greatest players to play this game.
Yes,
arguably, but the reason why he's out of games is mainly because this dude can't stay off the weed, and on top of that, his head is all messed up. I mean, let's look at his stats real quick. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. I just don't understand this dude. Like, Josh, look at this. Last season, you only had 18 catches, 335 receiving yards. You played 5 games. You started 3. You had 1 touchdown. Okay? But that's not what bothers me. The fact that you have 18.6 yards per catch. So this man literally gets a first down and more.
right.
Per catch, and still, I have to keep saying, well, Josh, you've only played 40 games throughout your whole career, dude.
So, I mean, what is it with him? Is it the money? It's not enough money to encourage him to do the right thing? Or is it his surroundings?
I think it's his surroundings. Here's why. Because the problem with Josh is, everybody knows Baylor. Baylor was a great program. Played with a lot of great people. He's played with RG3. And that's what
Oh, you say he played with a lot of great people. But then you said RG3.
RG3 is not, like, great.
Okay.
Like, as far as the NFL is concerned. But as far as college football is concerned, no, he's great. You can't deny that. Like, he was a Heisman Trophy winner. The dude lit it up at Baylor. So we can't... And they built a statue for the dude. Well, so he was clearly great as far as college football
Charlie Ward was great.
He was.
Charlie Ward was great. I would not put RG3 on the same level as Charlie Ward. Now,
why?
Another great collegiate
player.
Hold on,
wait. Why wouldn't you?
I just don't give RG3 the credit for everything that happened at Baylor. I mean, he can run. He just has not proven to me.
What other great quarterback came out of Baylor? Name one. I'll wait.
I can't.
Exactly. That's my point. So I'm like, no, you have to say that. Now, I will say this about RG3. He did have monster receivers at that time because Baylor, for some strange reason, they got these crazy, like, receivers, and you saw what happened. A lot of them come to the league, and usually they end up being good slot receivers, or they end up being number ones. Him being one of them. So, like, I don't know. Now, with Josh, he wasn't doing all this at Baylor, but in the NFL... he's a completely different guy. Like, he had weed problems. Mm-hmm. I mean, I never forget the Patriots were having receiving core problems. And if we didn't beat the Browns that game, he would have definitely been the MVP of that game because this man had like 225 yards against us.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. Mind you, this man was suspended 4 games that year, and he still had 1,600 yards receiving. Mind you, he was suspended 4 games. You can't. That's why I'm like, this dude. I said this is the impact, like, cause I remember the question that I posted was, how much of an impact will this man be for the Browns organization? This is what I believe, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is what I believe.
Wait for it.
I think that Josh Gordon, a lot of people are gonna call me crazy. If he plays well and he plays phenomenal, I think he could get comeback player of the year. No doubt.
Shame.
I think he can get comeback player of the year.
It has gotten very hot in here with that right there.
Why is it hot?
Comeback player of the year.
Yes.
It's possible.
Exactly.
But will he play a whole year? I'm sure they're going to be doing random testing on him. Can he stay away from the shotguns?
So here's the thing. So I don't know if you remember this, but he just recently took a couple of weeks off because he and go to a mental facility because he wanted to get his head right, because he wanted to make sure that his head is right. He's here. He's about football. He's doing his thing, right? So this is the thing. This Josh Gordon is a lot different than the Josh Gordon in the past. Josh Gordon in the past when it did all this. I don't think he would have checked himself into a mental facility if he really did not need that for himself. And he checked himself in. He didn't. The team didn't do it. The team didn't ask him to do it. He did it himself. Okay, so that's why I think this Josh knows. He's like, I have to do these things because if I'm gonna be the greatest receiver in this league, then I have to get myself right. And if I don't have myself right, I'm not gonna be able to perform because I keep running into the same problems that I keep running into.
Well, he can erase that thought out of his head. He won't be the greatest receiver in the league. That's just out. But this is the thing. What is his contract like? Is he in a contract year? How many years left on his contract? Because this may be the reason why he's doing all of this. Now, and my other thing about Josh Gordon is, how is he in the locker room?
Well, in the locker room, from the articles that I've been reading on CBS, he's a great teammate. That's not the issue. The issue's not the locker room. It's when he's outside of the locker room. That's always been his problem. And I mean, it's not like teams didn't want Josh Gordon. There was a lot of teams that wanted Josh Gordon. Heck, even New England wanted Josh Gordon, but the Browns were asking for too much. So I already know New England. They was never going to even bite on that.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you have to look at it like this. Josh Gordon, I think, is a really good receiver. Arguably could easily be the best receiver if he just kept the off-the-field stuff away. And he's still young. It's not like he's, like in his 30s. He's still in his mid-20s. He's still got some time.
Yeah.
He's still got some time to get it right. Like, honestly, he's still got like another 10 years. Because first off, he's like 6'4", like 230 pounds. And look at T.O. T.O. didn't retire until he was like, 38, 39 years old.
So
he's still got time.
So you're putting Josh Gordon up here, saying that his potential is higher than the ceiling. But so how do you compare him to another wide receiver that thinks he should be the best or be paid as the best wide receiver in Odell Beckham?
Okay, so here's the difference between him and Odell Beckham. It was more of a substance issue, more than a character issue. The problem with him is he was abusing drugs. You got the drugs away from him. Then they was like, all right, now he has to get his head right. Now he's got his head right. He's about football. It's not like he doesn't want to play football. Odell's problem is he has an attitude issue. He's had an attitude issue since he came into the league, and that's always been the problem. But that's because he's super passionate about the game, but it's a little bit too passionate. But then you get into fights with Josh Norman, and then it's all over the field, and then you get in fights. You're just going at it with corners all over the league. It's like, newsflash, kid, I understand you don't like being jammed, but guess what? That's part of football. If you don't like being jammed, then don't play football. That's just what it is.
What about the play on the field? I mean,
he's a monster on the field. He's been consistent on the field.
You're talking about Josh Gordon.
I'm talking about Odell.
Okay.
Josh, on the other hand, when he's on the field, the key word being when he's on the field, he's nice. I mean, like I said, I can't overlook the fact that last season, especially in that very last game, when I told people that Browns had one job, was to catch the ball. That's all they had to do, and they probably would have had that first down. And 9 times out of 10, they probably could have got the touchdown to win that game. But unfortunately, that didn't happen because they had a rookie receiver who dropped the ball. It is what it is. But Josh, in that very last game of the season last year, had over 100 yards. Josh is a monster.
He's a monster.
He's a monster.
When he's on the field.
And this is the impact that I see that he's going to have. I think the Browns, with him and Jarvis Landry, and I'm hoping that they play smart with their quarterback situation, because I'm hoping that they start Baker Mayfield. I like Tyrod. I love Tyrod. But I honestly think Baker needs to start.
You know,
But
with that Cleveland Brown organization, I mean, I'm not even going. I won't put it past them to end up trading Josh Gordon before the season is over with.
right.
I mean, you just don't know with that organization. They give up their most valuable assets for little in return.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be quite interesting. Real quick, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we got some more stuff to talk to you guys about.
What we talking about?
Hey, look, put it like this. Stay tuned on the No BS Show.
Right back.
When's the last time someone said thanks for checking over your shoulder before changing lanes? Or gave you a pat on the back for sticking to the speed limit? Or a thumbs up for not tailgating? Probably never. Which is too bad considering safe drivers make the roads safer for everyone. That's why Allstate appreciates safe drivers like no one else. And they show it by saving you 45% or more, along with giving you safe driving bonus checks, deductible rewards, and extra discounts with the DriveWise app. So the next time you come to a complete stop in an intersection, ask yourself, why haven't I switched to Allstate?
The Brandeo Insurance Group, your local DMV Allstate agent, can help you save 45% or more for driving safely. Call him at 410-424-0844 and get a quote today.
It pays to drive safely. Call a local Allstate agent today and find out how you can save 45% or more. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
We're back. This is what I got to talk to you guys about now. Some of y'all may not know this, man, but for those of us who are huge Hurricane fans, Miami Hurricanes, by the way, know who this man is. Butch Davis. Head coach of the Florida International University Panthers. This man says he has huge goals in 2018 for this team. Now, if everybody knows who he is, this is the guy who took the Canes to the national championship, had all those great players. I mean, he produced a lot of great players like Sean Taylor, Vince Wilfork, a lot of big names, Cliff Portis, all these big name guys that are now in the NFL today. Okay, this is what it comes down to. This man, we have to talk about him.
Uh-oh. Preach, Shane. Preach.
We have to talk about this man. Arguably one of the best college football coaches out there.
Yes.
Okay? Arguably. I mean, there's obviously other great coaches out there. I mean, you got your Nick Sabans, your Urban Meyers of the world. You know, you got those kind of guys. But Butch Davis would definitely be up there with him. I mean, even back in 2010 when they had... when he was at North Carolina, you know, he took that team on his back, and that team became a winning team under his belt. And the great thing is what people don't realize is this man is a lot about defense. Because if you notice a lot about Miami was always known for defense because all the great defense players that ever came out, like Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. I mean, the names go on. Okay, now you fast forward to today. FIU.
Who?
Exactly. That's the problem. It's the problem. It's like, we got to talk about those stats. You can go ahead and break down the stats, man, because I know you got some homework on this man.
Well, you know, let me just back up. You know, I agree with you. You know, he may be one of the best coaches in the NCAA football history, and also one of the best recruiters.
Right.
This guy has recruited when he was in at the U. His recruiting class was amazing. Right. And now when you look at what he's doing at FIU, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna get that right. FIU, his recruiting class for this year it ranks 66 in the country. That is phenomenal.
Right.
It ranks number 1 in Conference USA.
Yes.
So I mean that says a lot about his background, his history, and the respect that other other institutions and that people have for him to be able
Exactly.
to come into a school. What is it again?
FIU.
FIU. To be able to come here
You were
into
disrespectful.
this is why I'm doing this, Shane. Not being disrespectful,
Right.
but there's a lot of hype about what Butch Davis is doing at FIU.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you something.
Okay.
The first game of the season, his season opener,
Right.
is against Big Ten,
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah.
This will be the test. If Butch Davis and all this hype around FIU is really true, they will beat Indiana.
Yeah.
Because Indiana is a Big Ten school, but they're at the bottom of the Big Ten. So you should easily beat these people. Now, if you can't beat Indiana, then all the articles about we gonna do something big and what he done, you tear him up. Just tear him up.
Look, this is what I always say about this man. Look, he wins consistently. Always wants to perfect the quarterback position. No frequent flying. He has 7 home games. 7. So, honestly, there's really no... So, he should at least have 7 wins. At least. Out of this 12-game schedule. He wants to focus on more discipline, less penalties, which is good. But that's what he coached when he was at Miami. Okay? Red zone efficiency. You talked about his red zone efficiency off the air.
Yes. Out of 41 times in the red zone last year, the offense scored 40 times out of the 41 attempts. That is pretty good. I mean, that is a great accomplishment for
That's
this.
efficient.
Yeah, for this small school. I mean, for any school,
Right.
to go into the red zone 41 times and to score 40 times. I mean, that's like unheard of.
That's just straight up efficient. There's just no other way to say it. And he wants to dominate the rivals. It's the Miami Hurricanes. Okay.
That's not going to happen.
Okay, then he has better coaching. Well, here's the thing. You're not going to really beat the ACC. You're in Conference USA. Secondly, the talent that Miami has is going to be a lot different than the talent you're going to get at FIU. Now, the kids that are coming there, I'm not going to act like those kids that are coming to your school, it's not going to be good, but let's be honest about it. If I was a kid and I'm being recruited, and I'm thinking, do I go to the Canes, who's ranked like what, number 8 in the country, number 7 in the country, or do I go to FIU, who's unranked, but I play with a great coach? I think I'm gonna go with the Canes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the program and the coach is going to get me to the next level.
Exactly, and let's be honest, the Canes right now, no matter what, they're gonna get you to the next level because 1, the name of the school, 2, they're actually a really good football team now. They are a lot better football team than when they once were because everybody knows for quite a bit of time, they had a huge gap where they were just a losing program. They wasn't winning. And then on top of that, you saw the 30 for 30 on Miami.
Uh-huh.
Everybody saw that 30 for 30. I mean, that was interesting of the things that were going on there. So now with that being said, you fast forward to now. Now this team is disciplined. They're playing well. They play great defense. They got guys going to the league. I mean, one of the Browns players, since we were talking about the Browns earlier, is their starting tight end, Njoku. Okay? He was a first-round pick. So what people got to understand is this Miami Hurricanes team is not no bums. They ain't no bums. And I get you want to dominate them, but let's be honest, they're not going to lay down and let it happen.
Yeah. I understand what
It's wishful thinking. I like it
what
though.
Butch Davis is doing. I mean,
Yeah.
he's trying to hype up the crew and and get some and get their blood rushing and flowing so they can take the feeling possibly upset some people. But just being realistic, you would never dominate the U. I mean, this is your second year. I mean, in order for you to even say that you want to dominate the U, you're going to have to be at FIU for at least a decade because you're going to have to build this culture up. When you talk about FIU and then you talk about the U, I mean, everybody knows the U. The alumni. I mean, it is a culture that that's like no other. I mean, look at Santana Moss.
Yes.
Clinton Portis.
Right.
These guys are still together. It's almost like an Ivory League. college, how they stick together. Really, to you.
Yeah, exactly. Really good. It's a really great football program, and I said to people, look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you can't sit here and tell me that this man is gonna beat the Canes, but I'm not gonna put anything past him, because I mean, in his career, 87-48, won 5 bowl games, lost 3. The dude is pretty good. He's obviously very good. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to coach. What I will say is this, and this is where we're gonna leave. This is where I'm gonna leave it at. Then you can give your final thoughts. Here's what I believe. I believe that he's gonna take FIU to possibly to maybe 11-1 or 10-2.
Whoa.
Most definitely.
Whoa.
But those losses are gonna be against big schools. They'd have to be big name schools. He'll probably lose to, because he's not gonna lose to anybody in this conference. I'm sorry, the rest of his conference is good, but not great.
So you're saying they're going to be 11-1. Mm-hmm. So this goes back to last week's conversation with UFC. Mm-hmm. Because of their record, they should be ranked in the top 15.
You mean UCF? Yeah.
UCF.
Yep.
So they should be ranked in the top 15. So now, if he runs the table and say he beats Indiana from the Big Ten, should FIU be ranked in the top 15 as well?
At least. Because the Big Ten, let's be honest, the Big Ten is the second toughest football conference in college football. Obviously, number 1 is the SEC. Period.
Well, I'm gonna step on that right now, because the first thing that Bush Davis got to do is he got to resolve his quarterback situation. They don't have a quarterback. Who's going to start? I mean, they got a transfer coming over from where did the guy come from? Bowling Green.
Right. And I saw that. I was like,
James Morgan.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, so do you start James Morgan, or do you start your the guy that's been on this FIU team for, sitting the bench for the last 2 years?
I mean, it depends on how things look in camp. But, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Let's see what happens. I'm sure we're going to be visit Mr. Bush Davis.
Yeah, we sure will.
Dominate the Miami Hurricanes?
Yeah. I think he's reaching.
Oh.
It's wishful thinking. I like it, though.
I guess that's why he's so great. That's part of coaching. Coach him up, coach.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned on the No BS Show.
I got to give me some air here. I can't believe Bush Davis. Oh, my God.
It's the new, all-natural, family-friendly pharmacy, Family Choice Pharmacy, located at 8313 Annapolis Road, New Carrollton, Maryland. Family Choice offers alternative medicines as well as discount programs you can easily enjoy. Come be a part of our family at Family Choice Pharmacy, as every family should know their pharmacist. If you're looking to join the family today, you can reach us at 301-577-1212 at Family Choice Pharmacy.
If you like to roller skate, you will love Lanham Skate Center. We offer all kinds of specials, birthday parties, skate classes, and more. You can even reserve the rink for a special event. Skate rentals only $3, so roll on over to Lanham Skate Center today. Located at 9901 Lanham Severn Road in Lanham, Maryland. For more information about our weekly schedule, visit us on the web at lanhamskatecenter.com or call for more information at 301-577-1733. That's 301-577-1733.
We're back. We got to talk about this. Wilder and Fury. So, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have found out, but so in the UK press, especially over there on BBC and all the great news outlets over there overseas, over the pond, Tyson Fury's been running his mouth. So, he claims that if he faces Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, it will be an easy win. Here's the problem with what he's saying. This dude is from South Alabama. Dude, you are from the U. I just want to know. What is it with these UK guys thinking that they just gonna come up against some dude who comes from the first off, he's from Alabama, and on top of that, from Tuscaloosa. Okay, this dude ain't no country bumpkin. Okay, he's a straight raw, like dude who's ready to knock your teeth out.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. This guy Tyson obviously wants to use his Aflac. That's what's going on. He wants to use his Aflac. I mean, come on.
Okay, so let's look at it. 40 wins, 39 knockouts. Now, that one fight where it went to a decision, that was like way back in the way back. Mm-hmm. Okay? This man's last fight, he knocked dude out by 10th round. He knocked him out by 10th round. He was like, I'm going to let him get tired. And as soon as he got tired, he just came back with that jab and then ping! End of the fight. Fury, where you been at, bruh? Where you been at?
I mean, obviously, he hasn't watched any Wilder fights. I mean...
I don't think he has either.
I mean, why would you want to step into the ring with this guy? And why would you want to say that you're going... I mean, why are you purposely trying to make him angry? When Mike Tyson was out, people didn't say... I mean, very few people said anything to kind of rile him up. You know, you have to go in the ring and try to box this guy, and hopefully you can get a lucky punch. But now you're going to make this guy angry.
It's not even just that. You do realize that Wilder's not even he didn't even care about you. That's the sad part about this whole situation that I don't think everybody's paying attention to. Wilder doesn't even care about him. His only thought right now is, yo, where Joshua at? That's his only thought. He's like, where Joshua at? I just want to know where he at. He doesn't care about Fury. Fury is low on the totem pole right now. In fact, Fury's got a fight coming up with I can't even announce his name, Fanetta or something like that. But he's got a fight coming up with that guy. Fury will probably beat him, but you still are not going to get to this guy. But then you're going to say, your next two fights, you want to fight Wilder and Joshua. Well, I can tell you right now, you're probably not going to beat Joshua, which means if you can't beat Joshua, I don't think you're going to beat Wilder either, because both of them are kind of the same fighter. It's just that Joshua's more of a technical fighter than Wilder is, because Wilder, the way he fights is very, like, I want to say haymaker-ish, because he likes to go straight for the knockout. He doesn't think about, well, let me try to, work this out. Let me try to go the distance? No, he looks to knock you out. Joshua, on the other hand, he doesn't mind going the distance.
Yeah, you know what? He may have a chance to beat Joshua, because that sets up two fights.
Okay.
Beat Joshua in a rematch. Or draw in a rematch, but because quite honestly, Anthony Joshua he's not going to get Wilder. He's going to run from Wilder. There will not be that's not going to be a fight. He's going to run, and keep that title. The other thing, I mean, Tyson. I mean, the things that come out of his mouth, I'm not positively sure that he's recovered yet.
No, me neither. And mind you, he's been out for like 2 years.
2 years.
You've been out for 2 years, dude, and you think you're gonna step into the ring against a healthy man?
Under the influence.
You're not going to step into the ring with a healthy Deontay Wilder. 1. 2, you're not gonna step into the ring with Anthony Joshua, who's not even thinking about you in the first place. Neither one of these guys is thinking about you, but yet and still you want to run your mouth like you that good. Fury, you got another thing coming if you think for a second that you're going to step into the ring with that man. Especially since that man, he don't even think about you right now. Now, he might give you a shot only because he knows that Joshua right now is kind of ducking him. That's what it is. That's the only reason why I would even see why Wilder would even give Fury that shot, because he's thinking about him. Because he's like, well, let me think about this. Joshua's ducking me. He don't want to fight me right now. For whatever reason, he don't want to fight me.
He wants to keep that belt.
Yeah,
He don't want to get that title up.
Yeah, I would want to keep my title too. Because I know this fight is inevitable. He knows that fight is inevitable. Now, I will say this. If his promoters play this right instead of ducking him, if the promoters play this right and they drive up the market price for this fight, then this could be one of the biggest fights of the century. Because then you'll have Wilder going up against, Josh And then let's be real, Wilder. At that point, it's gonna be undisputed.
Well,
you know.
I understand. I see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I'm
Yeah.
not a boxer, but this is, from the outside looking at it, I'm saying this. There's no amount of money that you can give me to get in the ring with this guy right here. Have you seen this guy knock people out?
Yeah, I have. Believe me, I have.
Can you imagine the headache that Tyson's going to get with those punches coming at him?
Well, here's the thing. Nobody really paid attention to Wilder until he started making his own noise. And I mean, let's just be honest about it. I remember a couple of weeks back, I had one of our experts here at the studio. Is a Koi comedian, is a really great boxing expert. He talked about this before. Nobody paid attention to Wilder until he started sounding off. And then on top of that, you look at his fights. I mean, he's beaten some really like stellar guys. Yeah. And then, when he got into that ring with Ortiz, I told people I knew he was gonna beat Ortiz just off the fact that Ortiz will get tired. I knew he was gonna get tired in that match. I predicted that was gonna happen. And then next thing you know, I ended up being right. Now, at first, it looked like Ortiz was winning the fight. At first. Because, like, the first couple of rounds, I'm thinking to myself, why is Wilder just letting this dude tap him with that jab? But then next thing you know, he started working that body. And I was like, oh, my gosh. Okay, Wilder, you're not doing too well right now. What's going on? But then eventually, I started watching it throughout the entire fight. And I remember I was texting Coy that same night, like, if he keeps tapping with this jab, if Wilder keep tapping with that jab, he's going to come back with that hook. And if he comes back with that hook, that's going to be the end of the fight. And lo and behold, I ended up being right. And then next thing you know, but those two guys still have a lot of respect for each other. So it didn't end like, well, I don't like him, he don't like me. No, it ended pretty well. But see, this dude, he don't like this dude. And I feel like Wilder in that fight, I think that fight will probably end by the 7th round. That's what I think.
So, Ortiz has a lot of respect for Wilder.
Yeah.
There was not a rematch.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I hate to say this, Ortiz was going for his belt. So, and I don't believe they had a rematch clause inside that contract. So, now, do I think that Ortiz will have another shot at Wilder? I'm pretty sure if his boxing promoter set it up, yeah, he'd definitely get that shot again. I definitely don't think for a second that probably would not happen again because of the fact that these two got a lot of respect for each other and they don't mind stepping in the ring against each other. But it's just that for Wilder, he really wants that fight with Joshua because Joshua, how you gonna talk over the pond and talk crazy, and then next thing you know, you duck the man. And then Wilder posted it on his Twitter page. He posted it on social media. Well, he keep ducking me, so y'all let me know when y'all want this fight to happen. Fury, this dude only sounding off because he knows that Joshua's ducking him. That's the only reason why Fury's sounding off right now. Let's just be honest about it. Nobody wants to talk about that, but that's just the truth. He's sounding off because he's trying to get his clout back. Nobody cared about Fury for 2 years. And like I said, I'm not going to take it away from him. 27 wins, but you got 19 knockouts, dude. That's how I always said this when it comes to boxing. I look at a fight as wins, and I look at it as knockouts. When I see 40 wins, and I see 39 knockouts, but I see 27 wins and 19 knockouts, clearly we know who the better fighter is. And I'm not talking about the amount of fights. I'm talking about his knockout percentage to his wins. This man is a little over 90-something%.
Could it be because he only has 19 knockouts, which means he's went the distance a couple of more times, more times than Wilder? Could that be to his advantage? I mean, if he moves around the ring, he stays away from the power of Wilder. Could he possibly take Wilder to taking the distance?
Here's the thing.
And win on points.
Okay, so here's the problem with that. You could go the distance with this man if you want to, but he's not going to let you go the distance. You saw what happened with the Ortiz fight. Yeah. Ortiz tried to take him the distance. That clearly did not work. Because, see, the thing about Wilder definitely has the stamina to not only take it the distance, but he's going to keep on trying to get that knockout. That's what he does. He's not like Floyd Mayweather. See, Floyd is going to take it the distance no matter who he fought. It didn't matter. And on top of it, he wasn't like a heavy puncher. This guy's a heavy puncher. And on top of that, he will take it the distance if he has to because he trains for it. He trains in a way where I know that I can go the distance if I have to. Does he want to go the distance? No, he wants to take you out early. Fury, he can go the distance, but he does that against fighters that he know for a fact he can go the distance against, because of the fact that he knows that those guys are not going to train that well to go that distance. This dude does. So this is probably going to be a pound for pound fight, especially since, let's be honest, them two hate each other.
So Shane, what you're telling me is that there's no possible way, and there is no game plan,
No.
no strategy
No.
that anyone could come up with to beat Wilder.
No. And Marcus Anthony, shout out to you. I'm actually looking at your comment right now. You said Fury can't win on points to beat the champ. You have to beat the champ. And he's right.
Absolutely, but if he does take him the distance,
Okay.
that's a win because that sets up a rematch.
It does set up a rematch.
And then he could get knocked out and use his Aflac. I mean, just wishful thinking here. What can you possibly do to beat this guy? I mean, what's your game plan?
So here's the thing. When I looked at both fighters, because I looked at both, I love their stats. So our BoxRec.com reports their stats, and they collect all this information about these fighters. And there's the thing. So Wilder is 6'7", about 225. Okay, he's pretty tall, but is a lanky, but he's got a lot of strength, right? Fury's about 6'9", around the same way, like 235, close to 240, right? But he's 6'9". So one, he's taller, and he has a longer reach. But the difference between these two, the reason why I'm always going to pick Wilder a lot faster than I'm going to pick this guy, is because even though he got that reach, this guy, when he gets in close, it's a wrap. I've seen it in previous fights. Especially, like, the one fight, I know I keep talking about Ortiz, but that Ortiz fight really told me everything I needed to know. During that fight, there was something that I noticed Ortiz kept doing. When he kept getting too close to him, boom, he was coming back with that punch to that face to keep him at arm's length. Like, yo, son, don't get too close, because once you start getting close to me, I'm going to take you out. Fury can't do that with him. Fury likes to get in close. He's not going to do that against Wilder, because Wilder's going to make sure you keep him at a distance. So the only way Fury can really win this fight is if he has to work that ring. Mm-hmm. He has to work that ring. Yeah. He can't go on the ropes, because if he gets on the ropes, then he's going to tear him up. But he has to work that ring in a way where he keeps him at arm's length, but still tapping him. That's the only way he's going to be able to beat him.
I watched several Wilder fights. Now, let me ask you a question. If Fury comes in and he's close to him, mm-hmm. where does Wilder's power come from? Does he have the uppercut?
I wouldn't say that
most of his knockouts that I've seen it's always been a hook, or it's been a jab or something like that. I've never really seen him come up with the uppercut.
Because for him, all of his punches, he likes to go straight, and that's part of the thing with him, and that's actually a way he could possibly lose, because he doesn't come with the uppercut that often. But when he does, I've only seen him do it like maybe once in one of his previous fights, and it worked in his favor. But that was because that boxer, if I recall correctly, he dropped his hands, and there was no way for him to guard himself. But Fury will guard himself. The thing about Wilder, what he likes to do is he likes to tap you with that jab, because what he's waiting for you to do is he's waiting for you to throw that punch, so that way he could come back with the hook. Mm-hmm. And then once he comes back with that hook, that's it. Fight's over. Then after that, he can start going to work and start taking you back to school. Fury got to remind himself, you've been out of the game for 2 years. You're about to get in the ring with a champ who's ready to take you back to school. So he has to be careful with how he fights this fight.
So I think we just came up with the only option that he has to win. Stay away, and then when you come, and then when you're facing him up, you have to get close enough to him where as though he just can't tap you and set you up.
Exactly.
Because you have to. I mean, that's the only way.
It is the only way.
You have to force Wilder to show you an uppercut, or you have to force him to show you a step off where he can get that hook off.
Exactly.
Other than that, I mean, this could potentially be a good fight if the game plan is right.
Right, because the thing is about Wilder, what is really great about him is, like, because he's such a powerful fighter and because he trains very well, I say people, the only fighters let's just say if he ever fought, like, if Floyd was around his size, that would possibly be the only fighter that could probably go to toe with him if they was around the same size. Because if they was around the same size, because the way Floyd fights, if you look at the way he fights, especially when he fought McGregor, when he fought Pacquiao, when he fought Alvarez, fighters that have that kind of power, he's like, nope, I'm not gonna go in too close because I know if they got that power, he's gonna take me out. So what does he do? He starts going for little hooks, little jabs, little work. There's a little work into the body, so that way he can win the point system, because that's the only way you can beat him. He's not going to allow him to do that because he's going to cut him off every time. So that's the only way that Fury's going to be able to win that.
Yeah, that sounds to be the only option that he has. And I know the money team probably watching. And I know Floyd's sitting up there talking about, what are you talking? I'm not getting in the ring with that guy.
I don't think Floyd himself would get in the ring with him.
I mean, this guy won't even have to throw a jab. He just swing a backhand and knock the average.
There it is. You know? All right, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a hometown hero boxer, and I can't wait to talk about this brother because he's been a great friend of the show, great friend to me, and it's going to be really interesting to talk about him. So don't go anywhere on the No BS Show.
When's the last time someone said thanks for checking over your shoulder before changing lanes? Or gave you a pat on the back for sticking to the speed limit? Or a thumbs up for not tailgating? Probably never. Which is too bad, considering safe drivers make the roads safer for everyone. That's why Allstate appreciates safe drivers like no one else. And they show it by saving you 45% or more, along with giving you safe driving bonus checks, deductible rewards, and extra discounts with the DriveWise app. So the next time you come to a complete stop in an intersection, ask yourself, why haven't I switched to Allstate?
The Brandeo Insurance Group, your local DMV Allstate agent, can help you save 45% or more for driving safely. Call him at 410-424-0844 and get a quote today.
It pays to drive safely. Call a local Allstate agent today and find out how you can save 45% or more. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Do you like to travel? Do you like to make money? Well, here's a way you can do both. Vacation Travel allows you the luxury of doing just that. If you want access to unpublished fares, reduced rates for travel agents, access to worldwide selection for family, group cruises, and all types of destination travel, then contact www.kingscourt.vacation.com or call 240-393-7962. That's 240-393-7962. You deserve to travel like royalty. See you on your next vacation.
We're back talking about boxing. Boxing. So, September 22nd, folks, I want you guys to savor the date. It's going to be at Bowie State University. It's going to be a couple of hometown guys, but the one hometown that I got to talk about, my man Alantez Fox. Oh. This guy. Man. Great boxer. I've watched him fight. Seen him on Showtime before. We got... Pull up the stats. Where the stats at? This man... 23 wins, 11 knockouts, 1 loss, 1 decision. The 1 loss, and he came onto this show and talked about that loss. It was a heartbreaker because I said to people when I watched that fight, I was like, this man dropped his hands. That's not typical of a fighter. And then we found out that he hurt his arm during that fight against Demetrius Andre, who was also an undefeated fighter. And it went 12 rounds. It did go to this distance, but it ended up being a unanimous decision that Demetrius Andre won the fight. This is going to be Fox's first fight since he had arm surgery, because he posted it on his Facebook page over and over again that he had to have arm surgery. In fact, when he came into the studio, and everybody could go back to January when I brought him in, my man's arm was bionic. It was robotic. And I'm like, okay. So what happened? And he told me. And I'm sitting here like, okay. So here's the thing. I believe that Fox, now right now, through his own words after talking to him, because I talked to him earlier this morning, is he's definitely fighting on the 22nd. Thing is, he doesn't know who he's fighting yet, but he will definitely let us know. I'm excited because it's great to see him back in the ring, because you don't ever want to see a fighter like lose a fight on the fact that he fought with basically one arm. He fought with one arm. Honestly, he could have ended his career doing that. Because, like, when you got a torn rotator cuff and you got torn ligaments in your elbow, that's not good. Not good at all, because then what'll happen is when you fight up against that next fighter, that stuff could really hurt you. And then you can't throw your jabs. You can't throw your hooks. You can't throw any uppercuts with that arm. So you're going to fight with a messed up arm the whole fight. And I think it's going to be great for the sport of boxing, especially in his weight class, because he's in the middleweight class. And I think it's going to be great because I want to see this guy win. Because a lot of people don't like fighting the dude because, one, he's tall. He's not like some small bum. No, he's like 6'4", about $160. And as you can see, you look at his stature. I mean, his stature is right there. He's from Forestville, Maryland. So he's well connected in this area. And the thing is, that night also, because I wasn't able to post this guy, but here's the thing. He's not going up against another guy. He's going to be fighting alongside one of his other cats. His name is Greg Outlaw. Now, Greg Outlaw went to Bowie State. He's an alumni from there. Greg Outlaw is 5-0. Okay, he's 5-0 right now. He'll probably be fighting somebody else that night, but it's going to be a huge boxing night at Bowie State on the 22nd. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on Fox is this guy has the heart of a lion, a tiger.
Right.
He's an animal in the ring. Sometimes your management have to save you. So fighting that fight, injured, may not have been the best decision or the best idea. Hopefully he has recovered fully 100%.
Right.
But, I can respect and I appreciate a fighter who loves to fight and one who just has the heart and says, you know what, I'm going to beat this guy with one hand.
Yeah.
We not throwing the towel in. I'm going to fight this guy and I'm going to beat him. I can respect that. But as on the other side, the management side, sometimes the management have to step in and say, you know what, this is not a good idea. Let's wait and live another day.
I mean,
so I'm excited. I'm excited to see him fight. And Bowie State. I'll be there.
I mean, and here's my issue and this is one of the things that when people were talking like wow, Demetrius Andre dominated him. Yeah, I mean, you could say that because of what you saw, but let's be real. Let's be real about it. Like, it'd be one thing if you beat him when he didn't get hurt, because he did get hurt in the fight. But you beat the dude because he was hurt. You didn't beat him because you were actually good. You beat him because he was hurt. Now, do I foresee a rematch between him and Andre? I hope that rematch does happen because I definitely want to see him fight him again. Now, if Fox still loses that fight against him again, then so be it. That's a totally different situation. Then I will come back on the show and say, you know what, Fox, lost to Andre, blah, blah, blah. But when Fox was on the show, he's like, I want to see him again. And I'm going to say this verbatim. Yes, I'm going to use some curse words. He said, I'm going to beat his ass. He said it.
Hey, look.
So I'm excited to see him back, and I'm just happy to see this guy back. And it's not very often that we have a lot of hometown guys in this area, because right now it's just Fox. Clearly this is a new guy. Is a Greg Outlaw. He's new. He's 5-0. And then there's another hometown guy also right there in Maryland as well, way up in Baltimore, Javante Davis. And I know you know Javante Davis. He's dominating in his division right now. He's undefeated. but he's in a much smaller weight class than these two guys I'm talking about. So
What about the Petersons?
I mean, the Peterson brothers. I mean, they good, but not like Javante. Javante's like he's a straight up dog. And I mean, the last fight I saw Javante Davis in, he knocked dude out by second round. Second round, he was done. That was a 12-round fight. He knocked him out by second. First round, he was like, yeah, I was just feeling him out, but second round, we gotta take him out, man. That's it. And he took him out, not even within the first, I would say the first 30 seconds of the second round, took him out. End of story. Thank you for playing the game of boxing. Have a good night. Simple.
Lights out.
Lights out. Simple as that. So, Fox, I know you're probably watching this, and I'm sure you'll probably watch this later. But we wish you it's a really good fight. Hopefully, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, because you and I have been talking. So, you and I will probably see each other in a couple of weeks anyway, and I would love to have you here, brother. But like I said, it's great to see him back and getting back to the ring and get back to training and things like that. Last thoughts?
No thoughts on that. I'm anxious to see Mr. Fox, get back in the ring as well. And it's always an honor to support, our local athletes. Anybody from the DMV. We have to support our local athletes. So we just have to throw that support around them. This is their home. This is where they come from. So we need to follow.
Yeah. Now, in the interest of time, we're going to go ahead and move forward. We're going to talk about the Big Ten.
Are we really putting more time into the Big Ten again?
Yeah, we are, because you know what?
Really?
Right now, they're the hottest. They just too hot right now. So this is what I was saying. I had a Big Ten prediction. So we now know what's going on in the Big Ten right now. Ohio State, Urban Meyer, he's been suspended for 3 games for his mishandling of the domestic abuse allegations. He's been suspended for 3 games. And I told you he probably was going to be suspended. I knew that. I thought he was going to be suspended for at least 6.
Much longer, yeah.
I thought it was going to be longer, but I know what it is. Let's be honest about it. Ohio State knew what they were doing. It was only 3 games. 3 games. Let's be honest about this, ladies and gentlemen. Ohio State wasn't going to suspend him for that long because they know for a fact that they got to keep that money rolling in. Let's be honest about it, because Ohio State is arguably one of the biggest programs in the Big Ten.
Not only that, Shane, remember last week when I told you the 4th week of the season, it's Ohio State against Penn State.
Uh-huh.
So he'll be back for...
He's going to come back for the big game.
He'll be back because I told you, if Ohio State, they rank number 3, if they lose this game right here to number 8, and number 8 is undefeated, number 8 is going to jump up to number 1. That was my prediction.
Yeah, you're right. And this is what... And I mean, Maryland, I'm sorry.
Are we talking about Maryland?
While DJ Durkin remains, suspended. Honestly, this is what I believe.
How many games will Maryland win in the Big Ten this year? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, who are they going to beat? Indiana. Do they play Indiana this year? I mean, I don't see Maryland winning 5 games this year.
I mean, they'll probably... I can tell you right now, they'll probably definitely beat Rutgers. They'll beat them. They'll probably be Indiana, because they always go toe-to-toe with them. Minnesota's not that great. And Illinois, they're trash. And then Purdue's trash, too. So, they'll probably beat those boys. The teams I know for a fact they're not going to beat. They're darn sure not going to beat them. They're not going to beat Penn State. They're not going to beat the Wolverines, and they're not going to beat Wisconsin. I can almost guarantee that. Those 4 games alone, they're definitely not winning.
Yeah, well, if they play State, they're definitely not going to beat State neither. Michigan State neither.
I don't know about that, because they beat State before. It's not like, and on top of that, they actually smacked them in Michigan State. That was the thing. They beat them in their house, so I can't make it seem like Sparty is there's definitely a chance for them to win that one. That's a game that I could definitely see Maryland winning. It's just a matter of what their new coach is going to do, their interim coach is going to do at this point.
There are 3 powerhouse teams in this conference. Do we agree?
Yes.
Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan.
And the Wolverines, yes. Well, you have to throw in Wisconsin. You can't leave Wisconsin out.
You know what? I'm not going to throw Wisconsin in there, because I'm going to say that Michigan State they're going to come up before Wisconsin. Michigan State was probably going to be fourth.
It's kind of hard because the problem with Wisconsin is just one of those teams. I always tell people it's the pesky team. That's the pesky team of the division. Wisconsin is ranked in the top 10. They're not no bums. So I can't say that they're not a powerhouse. They definitely are. It's just that the problem with them is they're a pesky team. Like, that's just what they are. You don't know how they're gonna be. And the thing is, they always recruit some really great running backs. I don't know what it is. I mean, you look at James White. You see what he's doing for New England. You look at Melvin Gordon. You see what he's doing for the Chargers. Okay, Monte Ball. He was great for Wisconsin, but when he got to the league, obviously he didn't do anything. Okay, yeah, well, they've always had great backs.
Well, they're ranked in the top 10.
Right.
But there are always teams ranked in the top 10 that fall out of the top 25. And I'm saying Wisconsin is going to be one of those teams this year.
I don't believe I can't see that.
I'm looking for Michigan State. I'm looking for Michigan State.
I can say this. Wisconsin most definitely is going to beat everybody here with the exception of possibly, and I'm going to say possibly, Ohio State. I don't think they're going to beat them.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State because Ohio State just has enough talent to really beat them, especially since they have a lot of returning seniors from last year's team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, granted they had to change quarterbacks, but, Ohio State's going to be there. Maryland, the reason why I think Maryland won't be so bad, I think they're going to finish 6-6. The reason why I feel like that is because they're not going to beat the powerhouse teams, but I love their quarterback, Kasim Hill. But that's assuming he stays healthy. Because I saw what Kasim Hill did against Texas. Now, the thing about Texas is ranked 25. And Maryland got to play them first game. So that's going to determine, to me, the story of Maryland's season in this first game. And Maryland beat them last year. Now, that was a different defense last year because Jermaine Carter Jr. is gone. Shane Cockrell's gone. They lost a lot of guys last year. And then on top of that, they lost a couple of corners to the NFL. So they lost a few guys. And Jermaine Carter Jr., well, he's playing for the Panthers now. So, they lost a couple of guys to the league last year. And then let's not even talk about DJ Moore. DJ Moore was the first-round pick for the Panthers. So, at the end of the day, I think Maryland, talent-wise, can win some games. Do I think they're going to win the Big Ten? Absolutely not. They're definitely not beating these guys. But Ohio State, it depends on their first 3 games with Urban Meyer being out. Now, if they're 0-3 by the time they see Penn State, then yeah. So
it's going to be a rough year for Maryland. If they somehow can defeat Texas, then it would generate a little bit of excitement. But I'm gonna tell you, this is going to be a rough year for the Terps. A rough year. I mean, it's going to be painful to watch these games this year. Painful.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard some blasphemy. I'm actually giving Maryland some time to get it together. It's not going to be as bad as what he's making it seem like. He making it seem like they about to go 1-11. This team's not going 1-11.
Okay, Shane. They may go 3. They may go 3-8. Okay.
They're not going to go 3-8 or 3-9. They're not going to do that. Like last year they were 4-8. I get that. They was a bad team last year, but that was because they literally lost every quarterback they ever had last year. So that's what it is. I do think that they're going to at least do some type of damage if Kasim Hill stays healthy, because I told people this kid as a true freshman was a 6'2", 230-pound freshman.
Let me put it like this. I can put it like this. Maybe the people can understand it a little bit better. The reason I say Maryland's season will be awful is because of this. With the situation going on in Maryland, the culture is down. The coaching situation is you just don't know. So the coaches that you got a new coach. Will he be allowed to push? Will he be allowed to coach the way he needs to coach to win? Probably not. Everybody's looking over their shoulder right now in Maryland. The program is in bad hands right now, and I'm sorry. I'm a Maryland fan. I've been a Terp fan for a very long time. But I'm being realistic. The program is in bad shape right now, and it's going to be an awful season.
Anyway,
I saw that, Shane, but I got Donald Trump in my phone, right? So,
I'm sure you do got Donald Trump, Mr. Troll himself, but I mean that's life.
So I can't lose.
Okay. Well, folks, we are definitely out of time right now, but I thank all of you for tuning in today. So I want you guys to go to the Facebook viewer group. I want you guys to follow us on social media at the No BS, No Holds Barred Sports Talk Show viewer group. And then I want you to follow us on our blog on No BS, No Holds Barred sportstalk.blogspot.com. Then I want you to follow us on our social media. I want you to go to Insane Shane _ Shane 29, Underground SB 29, Shiz _ 29, and No BS No Holds Barred from my Instagram, No BS No Holds Barred. Then you can follow my man Dana right here. Go ahead and yell at your social media, brother.
You can follow me on Facebook at Dana Tenen, and you can follow me on Instagram at FatherDaddy3.
There you go. And then what you guys can do now is, if you want to advertise with our show, definitely email us at undergroundsportsllc@gmail.com. This is your boy Shane Hector, and
this is your boy Mr. Unregulated, and I'm telling you right now, I'm about ready to get in the ring, and I'm about ready. You know what? I'm not even gonna get in the ring. I could throw a little jab or something, but you know what? Merlin, call me up. You know, I look like I can go for like 23, 22. I'll put the uniform on for you this year because you're gonna need me.
Yes. Oh, if y'all need a safety, y'all know who to call, right? I'm just letting you know. Y'all need some DBs because y'all DBs about to get scorched this year. I'm just saying. I'll see y'all later. We out. Peace.